Joe Haldeman's The Forever War is a masterpiece of science fiction, a brutal and bitterly funny meditation on war, bureaucracy, and the sheer absurdity of human existence. It won the Hugo, Nebula, and Locus Awards, but more importantly, it's one of those rare books that punches you in the gut while whispering, "You thought you signed up for adventure. No, you signed up for existential despair." Haldeman, a Vietnam War veteran, took his personal experience and reimagined it in the cold, unfeeling void of space. If Robert Heinlein's Starship Troopers was a love letter to military discipline, The Forever War is the breakup text that follows years of disillusionment, sent at 3 a.m. with no punctuation. At its core, the novel follows William Mandela, an ordinary guy thrust into an interstellar war against an alien species called the Taurans. The enemy is barely understood, the mission objectives are vague, and thanks to the time dilation of relativistic space travel, every battle Mandela fights sends him further into the future, while everyone he's ever known turns to dust. He doesn't just lose his friends, he loses entire civilizations. The war itself, completely pointless. Nobody knows why it started, nobody knows how to end it. It just keeps grinding forward, devouring soldiers, resources, and entire generations. This is war as a cosmic joke, and Mandela is stuck playing the punchline. But let's talk about the real enemy of this novel. Not the Taurans, who remain shadowy and undefined, but the sheer, all-consuming, Kafkaesque incompetence of the military-industrial complex. Every piece of equipment Mandela is given is either ludicrously over-engineered or completely useless. Every command structure is bloated with officers who have no idea what they're doing. Every deployment is more about bureaucratic box-checking than actual strategy. Haldeman doesn't just depict war as hell, he depicts it as a badly run office job where the stakes happen to be life and death. And then there's the time dilation. The further Mandela is sent from Earth, the more time passes back home. He fights a single battle, returns, and finds that decades have passed. The world he left behind is gone. The language has changed, the culture is unrecognizable, and society itself has shifted in ways he can barely comprehend. Imagine going off to fight what you thought was World War II and coming back to find that humans communicate exclusively through interpretive dance and tick-tock filters. That's Mandela's life. This is where the book gets particularly cutting. Over time, Earth becomes increasingly alien to him. Governments consolidate, freedoms erode, and by the time he returns, humanity has decided that heterosexuality is an evolutionary dead end and phased it out. Mandela, who just wanted to survive long enough to retire, is now considered an ancient relic, a biological throwback. The war has outlived its usefulness, but so has he. The love story, if you can call it that, is between Mandela and fellow soldier Mary Gay Potter, who serves as his one tether to sanity. But in true Haldeman fashion, their relationship is another casualty of time dilation. Separated by military deployments, they age at entirely different rates. She waits decades for him. He barely skips a beat. It's the kind of relationship struggle that makes long distance look like a minor inconvenience. Haldeman's prose is sharp, unflinching, and bleakly funny. He doesn't romanticize war. He doesn't hand out noble sacrifices or heroic last stands. He just shows you exhausted soldiers trudging through pointless missions, commanded by officers who would absolutely lose a game of chess to a houseplant. The combat is visceral, the technology is wildly impractical, and the training sequences read like Full Metal Jacket if it were written by a physicist who really, really hates authority figures. And then there's the contrast with Starship Troopers. Heinlein's novel glorified the military, painting war as a proving ground for the strong and disciplined. Haldeman looked at that and said, "That's adorable." Now here's what war actually looks like. No patriotic speeches, no grand victories, just the crushing realization that you are a disposable cog in a machine that doesn't even know it exists. This isn't to say the Forever War is completely devoid of hope. There is a resolution, and it's one that suggests maybe, just maybe, humanity is capable of evolving past its worst instincts. But by the time you get there, you're not sure whether to feel relieved or just quietly numb. In the end, The Forever War isn't just a novel about war. It's a novel about how war changes the people who fight it, and how sometimes the only thing more alien than the enemy is the home you left behind. Would you like to enlist? Didn't think so, cheers. After centuries of war, lost in time, and forgotten by the world you swore to protect, what's left? This song captures the isolation, the sacrifice, and the cold futility of the Forever War. Let it sink in.
Drifting to the black, a soldier out of place. Years turn to dust, but I'm still in the race. Fought for a cause no one remembers. Another war, another ember. Orders come down from men long gone. Fight for a world that's moved on. I close my eyes, but time won't wait. Every battle seals my fate. I'm lost in time, I'm lost in war. Every step takes me further from before. The faces change, the voices fade. I don't belong, I'm just a ghost in the parade. Came back home, but home ain't mine. City lights burning neon lines. They talk in tongues I can't recall. Was it worth the fight at all? Love was a promise, lost in the fight. You swore you'd wait, but I slipped out of sight. You're older now, I stayed the same. Time played me like a cruel game. I'm lost in time, I'm lost in war. Every step takes me further from before. The faces change, the voices fade. I don't belong, I'm just a ghost in the parade. Came back home, but home ain't mine. City lights burning neon lights. They talk in tongues I can't recall. Was it worth the fight at all? I'm just a ghost in the parade. I'm just a ghost in the parade. The stars don't shine where the soldiers go. Floating weightless, sinking low. A war with no reason, a battle with no end. Just names on a list they'll replace again. Maybe one day the war will cease. Maybe one day we'll rest in peace. But till then I drift alone. A soldier cursed, a time-worn stone. Lost in time, I'm lost in war. Every step takes me further from before. The faces change, the voices fade. I don't belong, I'm just a ghost in the parade. Came back home, but home ain't mine. City lights burning neon lines. They talk in tongues I can't recall. Was it worth the fight at all? I'm just a ghost in the parade. I'm just a ghost in the parade. I'm just a ghost in the parade. I'm just a ghost in the parade.